So at the moment, there's only an app for Windows and Mac, okay? But from next week, from Monday the 31st, they are introducing Shadow in the browser, which means you'll be able to play it on Linux or Chromebooks or Chrome OS, which is great. They do have a little chart. This is, by the way, is our good friends at Cloud Dosage. I have a chart here which shows what limitations there are. But actually, so this is the ShadowPC app over here. And yeah, up to 4K, 144 frames per second, 40K. Shadow USB. It's obviously pulling the USB devices up. Controller support. 4:4 screen color, special screen, better higher color fidelity, HEVC, so it's a different compression for video, added latency, reduces it right down, high quality audio, TCP switch, and some other stuff. Now you can see there's lots of reds when it switches to the browser. And it's been on Android for years. So yeah, well this is, sorry Matt, I didn't, I think it's been on, iOS and Android, you're right. It's specifically Linux. I'm specifically thinking about desktop OSs. Because you're right, you could run it on iPads and tablets and stuff since day one, I think. But specifically for Chromebooks and for Linux, it's now going to be browser-based. But also, not just them, you could technically run it on your Xbox, if you think about it, because you can run Edge on an Xbox. I think as well that you can use the Android app on some TVs and things like the Shield Pro, which is next in my lineup of testing. I'm pushing it onto all my devices. But anyway, if you do play it on a browser, it's coming out early access on the 31st to everybody that has Shadow. And then when they have completed the proper rollout and it's to the final finished live version, there'll be a few more odds and sods. So in the finished option, there will be microphone forwarding, camera forwarding, copy paste, drag and drop. You won't have those at early access. So you will need to, I think, have a controller plugged into the device. So really early access is just kind of, let's have a look at it. Use it as Windows, keyboard and mouse, that kind of a thing. But you do have controller support, so you can use it to play games. And then, of course, when it's fully rolled out, you're not going to have high-quality audio because that's going to be an idiosyncrasy of the browser. You're not going to have the TCP UDP switch. And you won't have the ability to run across two browsers or, one browser, two browser, which you can do with Shadow right now. So, yeah, and a few other high-quality things, which, I think, to be honest, obviously there are limitations with Chrome, so have I said how much I love the cyberpunkish incidental music? I'm glad, mate. Anyway, that's that. Let's have a look at the actual thing. So I've installed it just before today, but I haven't actually fired it up. So, I mean, there's no reason to assume it's going to be a problem. You see, it will eventually start of its own volition, but you can intercept that. You've got settings at this level, so you can have it start automatically. You can obviously adjust your video settings and choose the quality of stuff. You've got your network. I've whacked mine right up to 70 megabits per second. And here's the thing, guys. When I did a test earlier over Wi-Fi on my MacBook, I was getting 11 milliseconds of latency. When I was using it on the Ally, and that's an Ethernet cable, I was getting 10 10 milliseconds. So this is an overlay here. So this overlay is showing you latency of 9.1 milliseconds. 3.4 megs bandwidth at the moment. You can see the 70 up there. The 70 is what I've given it to play with. It's nowhere near that at the moment because it's static. So it's dynamically assigning bandwidth as it should do. It's not throwing everything at 70 megabits per second. It's saying, look, there ain't no movement here. You know, there's this tiny little area of the screen, so we'll just set everything else static and we'll just dynamically update that area. And of course 27 frames per second, for the same reason there's no activity, so it has no need to do it. But here you can adjust again. So look, it's saying that it's recognizing the fact that it's on the Dell monitor, but it also will allow me to use my second monitor, so it would just feel like a fully fledged PC. I just had a thought actually while I'm hidden away down here. Give me a second. Little thought came to my bonds, and there I am. And if I apply my filters like so, look at that. There you go. Now you've got me as well. That's how it should be, isn't it? See, that's the thing. I mean, I could do that with Larry all the time, but we'll do it for this. So yeah, so I could have it on both monitors, and honestly, it's the same speed. 11, look, it's now 8.4 milliseconds. It's imperceptibly, you know, I had it on my MacBook and I had it on my Ally, and I moved the mouse and they were in sync. I mean, you wouldn't have. No packet loss. Look at that, 0%. That's over the last minute, but you can have a look at it as long as you want. Look, if you want, you can have a look at your averages, which is pretty cool. And all the same, all your audio, you can go to high quality audio if you so wish. I haven't bothered. You can enable your microphone, and under the USB stuff, here's all my, look at this is all my connected, it's recognized all my connected USBs. So I could connect my camera, I could connect my microphone, my external drive, my little hub, which I've got a load of stuff plugged into, and I'm guessing Mystic Light is my Elgato light, so I could happily run all that stuff in here. And then the network, which we've seen, I've got set at 70. It doesn't need it though, quite honestly. But if you do want to, you can change here. You could put, instead of speed, you can put, what's the options? No, I didn't mean to do that. Stop, come back. It just basically decreases the amount of quality, which I didn't actually want. And then you can click on that thing up there and bring the doofer back up. There you go, reliability. But we don't need reliability because we've got fast broadband. And that's the other thing. So essentially, what I discovered was, and I don't know about you, I'm OCD about the bin. If I see anything in it, I've got to click and get rid of it. I can't stand it being there. Get out of here. Let me bring up Edge. There we go. So here's Edge. And let's go to fast.com, which is what I use to test broadband. Now, bearing in mind, the speed we're seeing here is what's at their end, right? In France, in fact, out of Paris, I believe. Look at this, 1.5 gigs network. It's faster than my network. I've got a 1 gig. Let's have a look at the latency. Let's have a look at the upload speed. So we're hanging around 100 megs up, which I've got 110. It's pretty much on par. 3 milliseconds unloaded and 19 milliseconds loaded. This is a really, really good connection at their end. This is what we're playing with. And then of course it's coming to me, but I know mine is similar. I could run a fast.net, see the fast.com, see the same thing. Let's close the browser down for now. Let's go into the settings. Let's pull this back. And let's have a look at about this PC, wherever that lives. I forget now. About this device. Right, okay. So this is what we're playing with. It's a 2.8 gigs processor, which, to be honest, is plenty fast enough. I know I've got a 3.2 gigahertz one, but I don't see there's not much of an advantage. Obviously, it's 64-bit, 28 gig of installed RAM, which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't go for the extra stick of 4 and go with the kind of industry standard of 32. But again, 28 probably enough. It uses as a GPU a kind of it's an NVIDIA card, which is a blade that has been specifically designed for this kind of purpose in server clusters where they have multiple hosting. But it's an equivalent of, now they say a 3070. I've got a 3080 in my PC, but my 3080 only has 16 gig of VRAM, which is all that the 3080 series cards get. Their 3070 comes with 20, I think it's 26 or 24 gig of VRAM. Let's see if I can find display. I don't know if it will show the detail. Actually, it might do. No. Anyway, it's about 24, 26 gig of VRAM. So it's almost as much as the CPU's got to play with, it's clocked faster than a 3080 as well. I googled it and it all came up. This is the PowerPC Plus. So this is their top. They only have 2 tiers now. They used to have like a multitude of tiers, and now you just have the 2. And obviously, the PowerPC Plus is the expensive one, which is, it's. I'm not going to pretend it's cheap. It's £50 a month. Now, initially, and I always felt the same way. You sort of think $50. I don't know how that equates. I don't know what they sell it for in the States. But so I'm just going to stick with the poundage at the moment. But then I thought about this, and I thought, hang on a minute. So the rig that I'm using as my main rig costs me about £2,200, and it's on a par, give or take in a few different ways, but it's on a par with this, right? If I only had, because there's a few other things to throw into that mix, you're obviously benefiting from 1.5 gigs of broadband out to the world, which means you don't need to have that much. You only need to have maybe 100 in order to get the quality of signal. You've seen it's like 70 megabits per second is what they've suggested. So you're getting a ramped up broadband for that. You're also getting 24-hour PC support. You're getting a lifetime warranty. When you buy a PC and it comes with 12 months warranty, or a Mac, you've got to pay beyond the 3 months to have Apple Care. Right? You get all that thrown in as well. And then think about it this way. I would demonstrate to you, if you're like me and a bit hard of thinking when it comes to mathematics. I shall show you. Let's get the calculator up. Where are we? Here it is. So 2,200 divided by 50 is 44 months. Right? So 44 divided by 12 is 3.6. So you're basically paying off interest-free a £2,200 PC with lifetime warranty and 1.5 gig broadband connection for 3.5 years, which is pretty much, if you were buying a PC, if you bought a if you went down to your electric store today and you said, right, I want, and it doesn't even need to be £2,200. Look, anything from 1,500 quid upwards, because most of these places are going to let you pay it off over 2 or 3 years. So 1,500 divided by 50 is 30. Divided by 12, 2.5 years, right? So you're getting to spread the cost of your purchase, and when you get to the end, you're not having to worry about having to pay to up-rank the graphics card because they're all 4 series now, for example. Now, I know at the moment this is a 3070, but it wasn't that long ago when their top-tier graphics card was a 2080. So as the years go by, they're ramping up their hardware as well to keep it attractive. They have to keep it attractive, otherwise no one's going to be buying the service. So you can guarantee that in 2 years' time, for example, your PC that you're still paying off, as it were, is suddenly been, they've come along and gone, I know you bought it 2 years ago and, you've been paying off, but we're going to give you a brand new special one. Just keep paying. That's essentially how I look at it. You're effectively, we all used to say, didn't we, with Stadia, just imagine that you're basically subscribing to a console in the cloud and you never need to upgrade the hardware and all that stuff. That was our big sell on it. Well, it's the same thing here. But of course, what you then have, you don't have to worry about having an expensive computer and updating it or upgrading. In fact, you can use your auntie's old or your granny's old PC that she's thrown out. Just put a half-decent monitor. I mean, it can be 1080, that's fine. But I would get, put a 1440 on it. And then you can download your games, you can play your cloud games, you can play your NVIDIA stuff, everything. It doesn't matter, does it? You're not stuck with pull the. Oh, I was forgetting I've got my mouse hidden away. But my little get out of jail clause is always to pull up Windows. But that's the Windows there. Oops! I need to get out. Hang on. There we go. If we get the quick menu up, that's it. Perfect. I'm just going to pull chat up above me. So I can show. Where is he? There he is. We can get the chat back now. There we go. Lovely. So that is because I was in the same place. I was thinking, Firstly, I thought, I'm going to be cynical. We're back in their land again now. So I thought, I'm going to be cynical because, quite honestly, there's no way it's going to be any good. This can't be, can it? Here we are over in YouTube. So I can put on one of the videos. Oh, don't need to hear me though. There we go, and streaming perfectly. I mean, this video is a 60 frames per second. 1080. There we go. 1080 at 60 frames a second. It's instant. I played Remnant 2 earlier on Shadow via the Ally. And, this isn't my account. I wonder why it was saying you're missed. I need to change it up. Switch account. Does it give me the option? Yes, it does. There we go. You've got me premium thingy bob in place. So I was playing Remnant 2, and all I had to do was adjust it to the same settings that I had already had it adjusted when I was streaming it across the lounge from here. In other words, yes, it could go 4K, but on their GPU, which is almost the same as my GPU, it's not that happy at 4K. So I just streamed it at 1440, same as I have been from here. Worked a treat, worked an absolute treat. So it works. This is my point. And I think once, look, I'm not going to say that if you've got a decent computer, there's any point in subscribing to this because there's no advantage. If you've got a decent computer, then you can still do everything that you could do here on your decent computer. But if you're in the market for an upgrade, this is an affordable way to get a really good piece of kit that will do and don't forget, you can, with the browser option as well, if you're visiting somebody or if you're on holiday and you've got access to a computer, you can log in via the browser as of Monday. So you don't even need to install the app on somebody else's computer. Anyway, there you go. That's it. That is it in a nutshell. And as I say, you can, I could adjust this, but there's not much point. So look at this. Frame rate went up at this point. Look, I can't actually hover over it to see what it was, but this was when we were streaming YouTube. So you can see how it works dynamically. In fact, so let's pull up a video and let's pull it right across the screen. There we go. And now let's see, let's monitor it. Here we go, 60 frames per second. There you go. 80, 120 frames per second. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. It's dynamically assigning it. Wow. This monitor will do 144 frames per second, but I think I'm right in saying that Shadow is capped at 120, but it's dynamically working on it. You know, it's looking at, and this is the same if you're playing a game. It ain't going to give you the full 120 frames of bandwidth if the game is on a, you know, a not particularly dynamic screen. I think it's really clever. And you can see it going up as well, the bandwidth. So if you remember, when we weren't doing a huge amount, it was only like 3 megabits per second. But as stuff is happening in that video, because don't forget, this is an overlay, it's still serving from its end and determining what it should send it at what rates and speeds. Hence why it's going up here, even though we've actually hidden the video, because it doesn't care what you do with it at this end. You could have it on your phone if you want to. It's sending it out from its end. It knows what it can be decoded at this end, and that's what it's serving up. Hence, it's looking at what's going on in the game. It's going not a lot at the moment, 5 megabits per second. Let's have a look at the game. Yeah, so look at that. It's a loading screen. It's so clever. It's nothing in that screen, so it's giving us it at 5 megs per second. When that's loaded in, let's watch this kick up. It's got to be soon. It's not that slow of a game. And up here as well, look, it's going up and down, 60 frames per second. Right, now it's going up, 9.7, 9.8. What have we got? Nope, we're still in the loading screen. Here we go. Right, now let's see what's going on. Boom, 33. It's a fairly static-ish screen still, so it ain't doing it yet. But there you go. Now she's running around the place. And it's, yeah, so you can see 120 frames per second there. Look, see, it's given us the full pelt. Very, very clever. I love that. And there's no audio because I've switched all that stuff off. But look, the graphics are gorgeous. I can't sell it more than I'm selling it. I think it's really cool. But it is very much a use case thing. So thank you guys, and I will see you.